ó mẹ́rin ó gbóhùn erin ọ̀mọ̀sà ó jiyàn lọ́bẹ̀ àjànàkú kọjá mo rí nǹkan fìrí tá a bá rẹ́rìn ká. Solocard Multiventures Limited ilé ọ̀rẹ́ àgbẹ̀ ni mò ń sọ níbi kátà ojúlówó kẹ́míkà àti fataláísà tí kìí ṣe yèèpẹ̀. ọ̀rẹ́ mi sọnù kí o mọ̀ bá a sọnù.
Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ àti àdá kò ì pé o, kò ì pé o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilé wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. Ìwé kíkọ láìsí ọkọ àti àdá kò ì pé o, kò ì pé o. Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilé wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè.
Ventures Limited, where we talk about agribusiness, we talk about how agriculture is being practiced, and we could talk about what you can do differently. At this platform, or on this platform rather, where we share ideas about agricultural practices, how you can actually make good profit, how you can actually do agricultural practice well, how you can actually plant, how you can monitor, how you can culture, how you can maintain your farm, thereby getting a good result. Also, not just getting the good result, but how to turn the good result back to the value you're expecting, either by cash or by some other means, depending on what you are working on, or depending on what you are planting, or what you are cultivating, or what you are even doing generally in agriculture. Having the concept of how to turn whatever you're doing to the value you're expecting, cash, as the case may be, is the most important thing. Because being able to cultivate the plant or take care of the animals is not enough, but also being able to turn the animal or the plant, the proceed you get from the farm, to value, which is cash you expect at the end of the day, is the most important thing. And not just cash, getting your capital and getting profit, and that is what we stand for. And on this platform, and that's what we are trying to explain to you, how you can do it. At Solocard Multiventures Limited, so known as Farmer's Friend, we are looking into it every day on how we can bring about the required information to our farmers on how they can get profit, and they will be happy. Because at Solocard Multiventures Limited, we sell everything that has to do with agriculture. We sell everything you need, every input, seed, chemical, farm tools, pesticide, fungicide, what have you, fertilizers and the likes like that. Everything you need on the farm is what we sell. But as a matter of fact, we want you to understand the fact that when we sell to you what we have on the farm, we also want you to get results from what you are buying from us. Simply because when you are buying something from us and you are using it adequately and you are getting results, you will be happy to do more. You will be happy to expand, and you'll be happy coming back to us. And that's why we are looking at avenue whereby we can actually make our farmers our friends, let them understand what they need to do better than what they've been doing before, for them to achieve a greater result. And once again, we welcome you to today's episode of Solocard Multiventures Limited on this platform. And today we'll be talking about agribusiness. Agribusiness, our topic today is the continuation of what we did last week, talking about agribusiness. Now, the agribusiness aspect of it is where we talk about how do you make money in agriculture. Like we said in our last episode, we draw so much about cultivating to give it the value. But it is not enough for you to just cultivate and not get the value. Because we said, if you are doing agriculture and you don't understand the business behind agriculture, you are not in business. You are just doing a mere practice, or you're doing horticulture. Horticulture is just the process of keeping flowers and stuff like that, just to beautify the environment and stuff like that. Fine, that's a basic explanation I can give to you. But if you are not doing that and you are planting something to get results, definitely you need to understand how to turn whatever proceed you're getting from the farm into cash at the end of the day. Now, the truth is this: if you are doing farming, crop, as a matter of fact, you need to understand how to sell your produce. Last week we dealt so much about talking about how you have to get a better result, and I can give you a quick recap. I talked about how to get a good result. We talked about how your land preparation is. First of all, you need to know the size of land you're actually working with. So many persons do not understand the size of their land, and as a matter of fact, they think they are working on 2 acres, whereas they are working on 1.25 acre. From experience, we visited a farm one time ago. The man said his farm is 2 acres. So everything he was buying was based on 2 acre inputs. 2 acres, 2 acres. Even the labor he was paying for was on 2 acres. The tractor that went to plow the land, they said they paid them for 2 acres. They did only just 1 acre and quarter. Now, right from that point when he started clearing the farm, he paid for clearing 2 acres, he paid for plowing 2 acres, he bought inputs 2 acres, fertilizer based on 2 acres. The farm workers that were working for him, he was paying them based on 2 acres. But the real sense, his farm is actually 1.25 acre. So as a matter of fact, what he was expecting, he's expecting a result on 2 acres. But between you and I, the result he's going to get is based on 1.25 acre. Have you seen where the losses are coming from now? So as such, he has started losing right from the beginning of the project, even before the yield comes. He has spent excess money on land clearing. The land clearing was 1.25 acres, he paid for 2 acres. Plowing of the land was 1.25 acres, he paid for 2 acres. The input, the seed he bought seed for 2 acres. The people that planted 1.25, the remaining seed, they didn't give it back to him. I'm sure you can see where the losses are coming from. So now, when you talk about agribusiness, when you understand the business behind agriculture, you will understand that you need to do everything based on precision. In the sense that you need to know what size of the land you're working on, so that it will tell you the kind of size, the quantity of input you'll be buying, and thereabout like that, so that you don't waste the money. Because at the end of the day, most persons have wasted their profits even before the profits got to them, and as such, they believe they don't make any profit. When you're doing agribusiness, you should understand that when you do this, if you understand what the size of land is, if your size of land is 1.25 acre, you know this is 1.25 acre. How do you know? You need to do measurement. You need to measure your land. Be sure of what you're doing. Thereby, you could be able to calculate what you're putting in. So when your result is coming, your result will be based on the size of land you're actually working on. Number 2, we talked about you having understanding of the planting population of what the crop you're cultivating. If you have an understanding of the planting population of the crop you're cultivating, that will also give rise to the yield you're expecting. We used the example of cucumber last week, and we mentioned the fact that if you are doing cucumber 1 acre, at least you should have 13,300 stands. So if you are doing 1 acre of cucumber and you are having maybe 8,000 stands, you know already that you cannot have the same yield with a person that is having 13,000 stand on his 1 acre and you are having 8,000 stand on your 1 acre. So in that case, you know that your result is already reducing. You are not in business yet, because you did not put the required number of stands that should give you the required number of outcome for you to get that value you are expecting. So understanding agribusiness will make you know all these things, will make you put all these things to check, such that when you are expecting your yield, you could actually be close to it, even if you don't get more than that. We give an example the last time that at least you have about maybe 350, 380, 400 or 420 bags of cucumber per acre. But if you are not having that number of stands of 13,300 as the case may be, you might not have anything close to that. We have experience with so many farmers that said, like one farmer came into the building yesterday, we just interact, what are you cultivating? He said he's cultivating tomato, he's cultivating bell pepper and cucumber. And I asked, what type of cucumber are you cultivating? He said 1 acre of cucumber. I said, are you sure it's 1 acre land? He said, yes. Now he measured the land, it's 1 acre. Okay, so what is the best yield you've gotten on your 1 acre of cucumber so far? He said 150 bags. You can imagine, that was too poor. When I mean too poor, it is too poor. 150 bags as to 400 bags. Have you seen the difference now? 100 bags. But he's getting 150 bags. The result cannot be compared. So you could look at that aspect now. That kind of person might tell you he's not making profit in cucumber farming. But someone that is getting 350 bags on the same 1 acre of land, the same size of land, the same input, the same time difference, and that person getting 350 bags, that person can confidently tell you, I make profits from cucumber. And that's how the case has been. And so when some persons are talking that I make profit from cucumber, you said that no, some people say like it's a lie, that I'm not sure they made profits. That should mean the same cucumber I'm also doing. But are you doing it the same way we are doing it? You're not. So try and understand something. If you are not doing it well, you cannot get the result. And that's what I want you to understand. Having understanding of agribusiness will make you understand how to go about it. So we are urging our farmers. We are not just after the fact that you're buying things from us and you're doing so large acre of land. But what we are after is what results are you getting from that size of land you are cultivating. If you want to cultivate 200 acres of land, fine. Have understanding of what that 200 acres of land should give you. What the input should look like. And at the end of the day, even if you don't get the exact figure, when you are close to it, you have a good understanding of the fact that what you are doing, you are getting a very good result. So please, we want you to understand the fact that you need to look into agribusiness. And also in agribusiness, marketing is one of the most important aspects of agribusiness that we want you to understand. You should be able to market your produce. Oftentimes, I see it like being not having understanding of agribusiness will make a farmer say that he could not sell his produce, that a produce is looking for markets. I look at it that if you have a good understanding of agribusiness, you will not tell anybody, or you not be saying it that you do not have market for your produce. Because the fact is when you cultivate this particular crop, even before it is ready, you need to do a market survey of that crop. And how to do a market survey is about how to market the crop. You don't need to be a very good marketer in town to market your produce. You need to have some basic understanding about marketing. And the first one is this: who needs the produce? This is one of the topics we've talked about in one of our episodes. Who needs the produce? Now, when you know who needs your produce, you now look at it. In what quantity do they need this produce? By the time you get that answer, but when you ask who needs your produce, you have to go ahead and check what are the people that needs what I'm cultivating. For instance, maize. Who are the people that buy maize? That's the first question you ask yourself. Then you now ask questions. What are really buy maize in large for? You now look at it. From there you get the response. Feed millers buy maize regularly because they always produce feed for birds. So they cannot produce feed without using maize. As long as people that are still raising birds, poultry farmers are still available, they will keep making feeds. And as long as they have to keep making feeds, they will have to keep buying maize. So definitely they will need maize all the time. So now that has answered the first question: who needs my produce? Now the second one, what quantity of my produce do they need? Now when you are assessing feed methods, or who are the aggregators, we have some person that aggregates for them. Their factory might not be close to you, but they might have people aggregate it when it's plenty. They get a truck to move it down to the factory. Who are the aggregators? You get to look at them, ask questions, you get to meet them. Then you now ask them, in what quantity do they need? Perhaps whatever you think you have on your feed that is plenty might just be like 10% of what they need. So when you get to them and ask those questions, you can have understanding to find, oh, these people actually need 200 tons, and all you could produce is just 10 tons. You can see that you didn't even have up to 20% of what they need. So you have you're just assured that they can buy off every of your produce. You now ask questions. How much will it now cost you to take it down to them? Or will they now come and carry it? That will now bring you back to the negotiation of how much will they buy from you. Do you have to take it to them, or will they have to bring their trucks to come and carry it from your farm and others? Like, if you can go through, if you can answer these three questions, then you're already in business. Then you will not have to say that you don't have someone that wants to buy your produce, or you could not sell your produce. Then you not say that maybe your produce you're losing some of your produce because you could not sell. All those words will not come in play, because the fact that you could have understanding of how to do a good market survey. So when you do that, it is quite easy for you to sell your produce even before it is ready. Oftentimes, everything we cultivate on the farm, we already have a buyer for them even before we start harvesting them, because we take time to do the market survey. Some persons, even when we are exhausted, some persons still calling, hey, please, I learned you have this, we want to buy from you. We are sorry, it was sold out already. Like, why now? Please sell small for me. Not like we are the only one cultivating it, but the fact that we did a proper market survey such a way that we have much more market than even the produce we are producing. As such, we don't have any leftover to deteriorate. So if you can understand agribusiness properly, ask questions about agribusiness, look into it, what and what you need to put in place to get a very good result in order to turn your produce to cash. Because that's the bottom line. Whatever you think you're doing on the farm today, if you cannot turn the produce to cash, you are not in business. You're only doing a mere practice. You're not in business yet. But when you can have understanding of how to turn your produce to cash, then you come into business. So those three key things, if you can answer those questions, you are in business. The first one is this: who needs my produce? The second one is this: in what quantity do you need my produce? And the third one is this: how much will it cost you to get the produce down to them? If you answer these questions, then you are already in business. Then you know how to sell your business, and you will not have a problem of you're losing your produce and the likes like that. There are much more to agribusiness, but I tell you, agriculture is sweet when you understand the principles that govern agriculture, right from cultivation even to selling. As such, it makes every operation quite easy for you, and you will never see the drudgery involved. But if you don't understand the concept of agribusiness, you will always see the difficult part of agriculture. You always see like a stressful practice. You always see like it's difficult to sell and the likes like that. It is never difficult to sell. If you think it's difficult to sell, how are those people that are in the business before you, how are they been coping? How come that produce have always been available in the market for people to buy? How come they are always selling out? Even sometimes, even when you yourself want to go and buy that same product, you say you can't find it. It is finished. They've finished selling. How come they are selling? It's not difficult. Understanding the right principles makes it quite easy. A very good example is this: if you don't know how to drive a car, you always see like there's something that is very difficult. But the day you know how to drive very well, you find that driving a car is not difficult. But if you don't know how to drive it, you feel it's a difficult task. The same thing happens in agriculture too. If you don't know how to sell your produce, you find that it's difficult to sell. But the day you know how to sell the produce, you'll be looking for more produce to sell. I'm sure you get a point now. Because now you now see that, fine, it's quite easy for me to even market these things. Let me go and look for people that, then you'll be eager to look for people that even have, don't worry, bring it, let me sell it. I have customers that can connect it to them. As simple as that. Do you know you can even sell all your produce without leaving your house? It's a function of how you make the connect. It's a function of how you do your survey. Every connect, every contact is valuable, depending on how you can keep your contacts. And that's the truth. When you can network properly, then you can sell your produce. I want you to understand something today. There is nothing in agriculture that is difficult to sell, but I want you to know that today you can sell anything at any time. As far as you have the concept of agribusiness, let's go back to agribusiness and let's do more or some things. Several times, some persons have asked questions. They've called into the building to ask us questions. Okay, fine. What can they do? They have their produce at social location. They find difficult to get the produce out and stuff like that. Number one, marketing your produce, depending on where your farm is, might seem difficult to some extent if you don't have understanding of it. But we'll explain this way. First of all, wherever your farm is, there are kind of vehicles that plow that route. You rest assured that not all vehicles go to all environments. As far as farm roads are concerned, some roads are terrible, some roads are bad. But even at that, you still find some vehicles take things into the farm, find some vehicles go there to take things out. What you need to do is ask questions in that environment. Please, I want to carry something from a farm. Please, who are those that can help us carry it? Or which vehicles can we get? Or even on the day you're going to your farm, you always meet these vehicles on the road. You can always stop them and ask questions. Good afternoon, sir. Please, I want to carry, will you be free to let me carry something? I want to carry something from the farm to out. You don't need to start explaining to that driver about the road, because the driver is already is conversant with that road. All he needs to tell you is, okay, how much will you pay? Or how much he's going to collect from you? As such, you already know. You already have a plug of someone that wants to get it for you. So you get his contact. Okay, fine. When is it ready? I'm going to call you. You solve that problem. That's not an headache. But the moment you feel like when you see them passing, you don't stop them, you don't ask questions around, you're not thinking, can my car carry this thing? Will my car get damaged? No. Even if you have some people will tell you, okay, they have a truck. If you feel your truck will plow that road and it will be tedious or difficult for a truck to move these things out, it's better you park your truck at a very convenient part. Let some of these vehicles bring these things out for you. Now, the concept of agribusiness is this: if you have to take your truck into the farm to bring those things out and your truck get damaged, you will spend excess money on repairing the truck, which at the end of the day, the profit you think you should get from the produce, you are spending it on the truck. As such, it's no longer business. Then you feel like, wow, this thing is not worth it. You tend to abandon the farm or whatever like that. Even when you think you have your own truck, there are vehicles that knows that route very well and can plow that route for you without having them damage on the road, because they know the place very well. You can engage them to move the produce down to a convenient place where your truck can move it from there down to where you're going to. It's not necessary they have to move into town for you. Most of those trucks or most of those vehicles that plow the farm roads don't even go into town, because most of them don't have documents, which you know, and police will disturb them on the road and the likes like that. But they can easily move things from the farm road into a better road for you, where you can use your truck to convey it down to the farm, to the market where you want to sell. These are some of the concepts you need to put in place. It's not because of the fact that you have a truck, you have to take your truck into the farm, because if all these trucks are going there, your truck too should go there. Don't forget that most of those trucks that plow that farm roads are now Nigerian made trucks, not the foreign made trucks again. So they've adjusted their springs, they've adjusted their absorbers, they've adjusted so many things that that their vehicles can get damaged easily. So then they've increased the suspender, they've doubled their springs, and that's why you see some cars going to bush, remote environments without getting damaged. But if you try your own car there, your car might not come out in the next 2 weeks. So these are some of the things that you need to understand, so that you don't start spending money unnecessarily. We've gotten reports from so many farms that are like, wow, I'm tired of this farm, I want to shut down this farm. What do you think I can do? The car, just to make things easy, I bought a truck, but every day when we go to farm and come back, I have to take the truck to the mechanic workshop. I'm spending so much more on repairing the truck, I'm spending so much more on servicing the bike, I'm spending so much, but it's kind of weighing down, it's tiring. I don't want to spend so much money again. Now, the concept about it is this: you don't have to spend so much money on repairing these things, but if you understand the process on how to go about them, you don't have to spend that money. We have vehicles, we have bikes, we have so many things that can actually help you convey these things. Now, having an understanding of agribusiness will help you know these principles, that you don't necessarily need to move your own truck into the farm, but you can actually engage some other truck to help you move it out to a convenient path where your truck carries to the market. As such, you don't have to repair your truck maybe every day or every month. No. These principles are meant to be put in place. Also, in agribusiness, some farmers, some people are complaining, fine, because it has been a challenge now that there's no workers. And we realize that some people are actually using some contract staff to work on their farm, that maybe their guys get contract staff that they'll pay them per day or per service. We want to understand something. If you look at the cost implication of doing that, and it's eating too much into your profit, it's not advisable. The truth is, it is better you find you find your own staffs at a convenient time than engaging the daily workers, except otherwise you have those crops on the field already before you were short-staffed. But if you're starting a new project and you feel like getting contract staff to be working for you every day is the way to go, if you do your mathematics together, only if you are getting the contract staff at a very cheap rate, then to work for you. But if you're getting at a very high cost, it might not work. Because if you're going to engage all these yearly staffs, averagely, if you look at the plus or minus, your expenses might be around maybe 25,000-30,000 per month that you'll be paying those staffs. But if you start engaging contract staffs that collect 3,000 from you per day, in a month you're spending almost maybe 80k or 80 something thousand on one person in a month. Now the question is this: what size of land have you been able to cover with that one person or with 5 persons? And what is the value you get back from that place? And what is the return for you? You realize the fact that you have wasted all the money, even your profit and your capital, you wasted it on servicing the labor. At the end of the day, if those so-called laborers are not diligent enough, you might not get anything serious. Because oftentimes, contract staffs are not always doing the job diligently. because they know that they have to do the job per day. The job they should finish in 1 hour, they might use the whole day to do it, because they know that they're just engaged there for a day. So when the day is over, once it's 6 o'clock, they collect their money, they walk away. They will not do it like it's their own personal work. So as such, they will not use they will not put all intellectual property into play just to get the work done effectively, because they are only calculating the time. As such, you'll be wasting money. The job you need to finish within a week, these guys might take 3 weeks to finish it up. And look at how much you spend for 3 weeks. Then you are losing money. That is not business. These are some of the things that engage, that imbibe, that makes up the agribusiness. How you can actually sequentially do your farm operation to the barest minimum, that you don't waste too much money, thereby eat into your profits. And at the end of the day, you could make profit. And that is the things we want you to understand as a farmer. Being a farmer does not mean that you know everything. Like we said, even we at Solocat Multiventures Limited, we are not saying that we know everything about agriculture. Every day we look into it. Every day we try something different. Every day we look at how we can actually simplify operation, how we can actually make operation much more easier, less cost, and more profit. And that's how we are looking for ways to share information across to our farmers on how they can actually do the same. Every day when we finish on our episode, we go to the farm. We're not just sitting back in the office here to sell things for you to come and tell you some stories we heard or whatever. We are also on the farm. Whatever we are telling you, whatever chemical we are selling for you, whatever thing we are giving to you, we are also using them. And as a matter of fact, we are sharing practical knowledge on how this thing could be done and being done effectively. So that when you try it, if you have done it here and we could get about 50% result, if you go and try it on your own side, you can get 70% result and share it to us. We will learn from you as well too. But we are constantly looking for ways at which you can reach out to all farmers or all intending farmers on how they can actually go about these practices so that they don't waste their resources. We have read reports of so many farms wasting resources on so many things, and they are not getting feedbacks, they're not getting money, they're not getting value for whatever input they're putting in place. But we are looking into how we can make this thing simplified by bringing back information to you using different platforms. And one of the platforms is what we are doing now. Sharing knowledge to you on how you can go about your agricultural practices and how you can actually make profit. Whatever we are sharing here is just a principle to govern these things. It's not just for agriculture. Whatever business you think you are doing, if you cannot market it properly, you can get a result. So these principles are not just solely for agriculture, but are just there for everybody that shows interest in business, any kind of business. If you understand the principle properly, if you can apply it to agriculture, you can apply it to any field of your business, and you keep seeing results. Read about people that are getting results in their daily business today. They will tell you different things. They've done things they've done differently from what people have been doing, and that's how they're getting results. Because you cannot keep doing the same thing that you are doing in the past and you're not getting results, and you think you want to get a better result, until you change the path, until you change the pattern, until you study the principle. You cannot get a different result from what you've been getting before. I want to tell you this today. No one is an island, and never assume knowledge. The more you seek, the better you become as a person. So we'll see next week again, same time, same platform. We want you to understand that you can always do it better than what you've been doing before. And I tell you, we'll get back to you again next week with different ideas on how you can actually do it better than what you've been doing now, and how you can get a better result with a better output. So same time, 10 a.m. next week, we'll get back to you with more details. Before then, my name is Mark Oluwafemi for Solocat Multiventures Limited. Thank you.
Bàbá Sídí, ọ̀rẹ́ mi, níbi táyé lajú dé yìí ló tún roko àrògbá kéèké.
Wọ́n rò ó ti sú mi. Mo ti fi kó tó ẹ̀mẹ́ta lọ́dún yìí.
Níbo ló ti wá ra kẹ́míkà tiẹ̀?
a ní lọ́dọ̀ àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń to kẹ́míkà sí ẹgbẹ́ títì ibẹ̀ mo rà.
ọmọ ṣe o àgbárí bíjà tuntun kí o tò.
kàṣà.
sórí o ti gbọ́n pa sólókàdì ń tiẹ̀.
gbọ́ mi ò ti gbọ́.
sólókàdì nìkan ní ta ojúlówó kẹ́míkà tó o bá dọ́dọ̀ rẹ̀ kò sírú kẹ́míkà tó wá tó rí.
ẹ̀rí.
kí ni jẹ́ èpò níwájú kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
ṣé lóòótọ́
tán ni.
ṣé lóòótọ́.
òótọ́ ni mo sọ fún ọ wo má yá lọ.
mo rí gbogbo rẹ.
kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́míkà sólókàdì kẹ́míkà tó dáa ni.
sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni
kẹ́míkà sólókàdì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
dákun ọ̀rẹ́ mi. níbo ni iléeṣẹ́ wọn wà bí ṣọ́ọ̀bù wọn níbi tí wọ́n ti ń ta tèmi náà ti lè ra.
amúnigun òkùnpá náà ni.